Us is unlike any other horror film I've ever seen in my entire life. It stars the Academy Award-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o. Speaking of Academy Awards, I want her to be nominated for a Best Leading Actress in this movie. She was just awesome. In fact, in every movie that you put Lupita Nyong'o in, she is incredible. She's just one of those actresses who can just do any role you give her. And the horror movie Hero is definitely one of them. Us is about a family that wants to go on vacation. Get out of society, typical vacation, relax, be by the lake, enjoy yourselves. However, the vacation soon turns into nightmare when doppelgangers start showing up and, make long story short, wreak havoc. And yeah, it was a real tense horror film, I will be honest. But it had good comedy relief. I guess that's why Jordan Peele's the genius for comedy relief in horror films. This, Get Out had a good comedy relief, and Us also has a good comedy relief. Simple words. Us. Get Out. Anyway, I noticed that Kara Hayward is in Us. However, she's not in it that much. She plays a bit of a blink and you miss kind of character. You really have to kind of know who Kara Hayward is in order to watch this film. Need I remind you, she's one of my favorite actresses, and, to me it was a little bit of a disappointment. Sorry, Jordan Peele, but it was a little disappointment to me when I saw that Kara Hayward had a small part. She's a great actress, but I was kind of expecting her to have a bigger part, more lines and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, she's also great in everything she's in. What I like about Us, besides the acting for this horror film was fabulous. In some horror movies, or in movies in general, there are some actors when you can kind of tell that he or she, you can just tell when they're acting. And there's some movies where you kind of feel convinced you're watching the real deal. And in Us, I felt like I was watching the real deal. The originality, oh my goodness, the originality was, unlike anything I've ever seen for a horror movie. The last thing I would expect would be what Jordan Peele came up with. And what he came up with is perfect for Halloween. Would I see it again? Yes, most definitely I would see this movie again. It was exciting, tense, and of course the plot twists were unexpected. For this movie, there is a plot twist, and you really, really need to watch, okay? Because you're going to walk out this movie confused, and, you're going to be like, hold on a second here, time out, what's going on here? How are these people created? How are these duplicates made? Who's who at the zoo, right? One of the things that you have to watch out for in this movie is foreshadowing. And foreshadowing played a huge part in this movie. A lot of people intend to miss foreshadowing and sometimes, forget that there is foreshadowing. Films like Dragon Slayer, films like the Pixar universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they all use foreshadowing. And even the Academy Award-winning film The Departed used foreshadowing. This movie definitely did. There was there's some signs, notifications that we see throughout the film, and a lot of us forgot about it until something happened in the movie, and the next thing you know, everyone in the theater is like, oh my goodness, this is what happened. How will I rate Us? I loved it. It was one of the best horror films I ever saw. One of the best horror films of the decade. Probably one of the last best horror films of the decade, I should say. I'm going to give it all the way. 10 out of 10 film cameras. If there is a director who can do horror films for the next decade ahead, it's Jordan Peele. He's incredible. Best comic relief, great directing, great screenplay. I wouldn't be surprised if this movie actually does get a couple of Academy Award nominations. It was great. And before I conclude this video, I want to say thank you all to my 85 subscribers. Thank you everyone who stayed, and for those who left, I'm sorry if I wasn't your cup of tea, but for everyone who has stayed, I'm glad that I have been your cup of tea for the last 2 years, and I can't wait to see anyone else who would join in on our adventures.